Welcome to the Uptown Community Podcast, where we see what we can learn, who we can get to know, and if we can understand each other and our neighborhood a little bit more.
We make up a brilliant tapestry. By examining the various threads and aspects of our community, we can appreciate how each and every person contributes in their own unique way.
This is more or less a normal episode, but it is the first experience for me of covering a live event, something that hopefully will happen more in the future and get more people involved in this podcast. Hopefully, this marks a turning point of actually being involved within the community. I had recorded different people at the AAPI Asian American Pacific Islander Awareness Month Rally and Rally to Stop Asian Hate here in Uptown. This is a selection of different people I had recorded. I will retroactively go back and get more of those other people that I either made a mistake on recording or thought I recorded them and ended up not recording them. So it was a learning experience on my part, but this is what I have, and we start with Reverend Patty Nakai of the Buddhist Temple of Chicago, which was the host for this lovely event.
So this is my vision. We really wanted to do the bell ringing. Originally I was going to put it on the corner, but since he wants to make bell ringing part of the ceremony, so we'll kind of gather here.
Oh, okay.
This will be kind of what you call the stage for the community leaders and the religious leaders, and then the audience will be standing there. And this will give us enough separation too. So.
Okay.
State senator will speak. Then we will introduce all the community leaders. And my idea, I didn't talk to with Rujas, we'll introduce the whole line of them first and line them up, and then they can ring the bell one after another. Because if we take time to introduce them and then ring the bell, I think the ceremony has more meaning if it's just rung in succession, right?
Who else is going to be here? So we got, and you're starting it.
Yeah, so I'm doing invocation. Of course, you know, Aloha music, they're going to be coming. And then,
Are they going to perform right here?
well, who knows? Some
Yeah.
people might not show, and then some people that you'd expect might show up too. So
Okay.
yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to just see who shows up because
Yeah.
we don't really know.
Yeah.
But-
So it could be a huge crowd, it could be just a couple
What
of
do you
people.
like about being outside this parking lot? It's just a parking lot, but there's a lot of nice things
Oh yeah,
about
we have people that take care of the plantings. It's a little early in the year, but
Yeah.
we'll have people planting flowers and everything to maintain it. We have our Kancho calling bell
Okay.
outside, so that's although now we don't use that. We use it pre-recorded in the service, but normally when things were normal,
Okay, yeah.
we would ring that to begin the service, and yeah, it's just nice to have the parking lot here. Years ago, we didn't have a parking lot this size,
Okay.
so it's nice to be able to have a place to park the car when you come.
Yeah.
We have the lilac bushes so sometimes the fragrance is coming in the right direction, and then you have the trees. I mean, the birds chirping in the trees.
Right.
It's always very nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice feeling, and then the street doesn't have a lot of traffic, so we're kind of isolated a little bit, and it's kind of
Right.
a little semi-oasis kind of thing,
There is.
Yeah.
And it still has that sense of peace.
Tranquility. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
very peaceful.
Yeah.
I've had wonderful times in this house.
Yeah.
This specific location, you've been coming to the Buddhist Temple of Chicago for a while.
Yes, I'm not going to say how old I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, my life,
Yeah.
throughout my life.
Okay.
I'm more of a recent,
Real recent.
relatively recent. Yeah.
Yeah, you're one of the welcoming members when I
Well,
was doing
Yeah.
the meditations in the
Right.
morning. Yeah.
I to tell you the truth, I did not know that this event was happening, but I don't pay attention to. I don't go to the website to keep up to date on. We're right on a flight path, by the way.
Yes.
Myself and my friend are here for the service.
Okay.
I'm actually temple president, so I try to make it, once we were able to open up again and I was fully vaccinated, I started coming back to the service on a
Yeah.
regular basis.
Yeah.
And
Good.
we're starting to see more people each week because more temple members are vaccinated and feeling a little more comfortable about coming out.
Yeah. So that's really a positive aspect of
Yeah,
the,
it's
the
nice.
future.
And we've been able to keep in touch with everyone because we broadcast our Sunday service on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
So even though people aren't able to come to the temple, they were still able to watch the service.
Your hopes for today.
We're hoping that there's a reasonable, decent turnout and that people are able to hear the speakers.
Yeah.
We don't anticipate there's going to be any problems, so it should be it's a beautiful day for it.
Yeah.
The weather couldn't be any nicer for an outdoor event.
Yeah.
I asked Bill, who's in the temple now, if he knew about this, and he said, well, it's being organized by various...
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Pastor Rudra Dansala. My pronouns are he, his, him, from People's Church of Chicago here in the Uptown neighborhood.
And you were part of the initial push to organize the rally.
Yes, I'm part of the Uptown Clergy Group, and we decided that we need to do something to respond to the hate crimes in our neighborhood. And so the first step that we came up with is some very visible public sign of solidarity with our Asian American Pacific Islander community.
Do you have a list of everybody that's going to be here?
So Father Andrew from All Saints, Reverend Patty Nakai from the Buddhist Temple of Chicago, Pastor Walter Pierce from the Lakeview Church of Christ, Pastor Jeremy Falk from the Uptown Church, Pastor Maury and Pastor Gloria from the Ravenswood UMC Church. I hope I'm not missing someone there. Tony, the pastoral associate at St. Mary's, and Father Mark from St. Mary's of the Lake. Those were all part of the organizing group. I hope I'm not forgetting someone.
And then and then the group, so we're going to do the bell ring, and then the group's going to play, and then the poet is going to come, and hopefully Pastor Maury got a hold of her. She's going to read, and then Pastor Maury will do the closing, which I assume they call that benediction, right? Usually in the Christians.
Okay.
Yeah, or closing prayer or whatever.
My name is Lani Aloha, and I'm the executive director for the Aloha Center Chicago. I also perform, so I have a performance production, Pacific Sounds.
This is my first time, but I've passed it many, and
Okay.
I know my mom used to go to this Buddhist temple, so
Okay.
I have like a good connection to Buddhism and everything too. It's really welcoming and just...
It's a special place in my heart. I feel quite at home
Yeah.
here, and also the Japanese American Service Committee. That was another place where I grew up, and a lot of like Nisei, they were all my obasan growing up. And then later, when I started my hula, my school of hula, we started it at the JASC. And so still just being connected to the Japanese community. It was kind of fun being able to get out of the city or Buffalo Grove and come to this place. It kind of felt like home, in Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah.
but you're pretty much hoping for people to show up, and
Right.
the more people show up, the more awareness.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what my theme was I'm going to talk about. I'm sure the other people, it's the senator and also Pastor Moore, I'm sure they're going to talk about that as well. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. And then it's going to do
Uh-huh.
what we see, and then who is here, and then hopes, just how you are representing the Buddhist Temple of Chicago. Are you representing anything else here? You're the host, pretty much.
I guess so.
So that kind of takes on different aspects. As,
Well,
anything else?
I would like to think I'm representing the Asian community, Asian American community. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like to
Okay.
think I'm speaking
Yeah.
for them in that sense. Yeah.
And the Asian community is very diverse as
Of course, yeah,
any
yeah.
other
Right.
community. Is there any
Yeah.
specific a representation that you want to make in your being here?
Not specifically. I mean, but you know, if you look at the Asian American history, especially that PBS show, when Vincent Chin got killed, that was in the 70s. Asians really realized we had to come together because he was mistaken for a Japanese when he's Chinese, and the auto workers attacked him because they thought he was Japanese.
Well, I'm here because I was a victim in the end of September of 2020. And it makes no sense to me not to stand here and support this. Just not to be here. It makes no sense to me. When I come here, I get to return that I felt more at home here than my entire 15 years spent out in Burbs.
Okay.
And to be able to come to a safe haven,
Safe place. Okay.
perhaps I can just re-anchor and reground. And music is healing for me, so I share that way.
And you had lived in Uptown. You like coming back to Uptown?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I do foresee us returning. We just recently moved out of the Uptown area, just trying to find the right place for us. So we're still in the area, but we live like 5-10 minutes out. But it's still, to me, we could bike it in. To me, it's still close in. But yeah, we're very involved with Chinatown, Argyle. My father was adopted, Hanai actually, by a Chinese family, and that's how my last name became Lee. And growing up, I have made a point to learn about the Chinese culture as well.
It's good to see you.
So during our more recent time here at Uptown, we've had a lot of fun.
That looks like that.
Just reconnecting, and again, the kids didn't know that part. So we marched last year for the.
So there's a solidarity between the different Asian groups, realizing when one of us is a target, all of us are targets. You know, so that's that sense of solidarity.
Yeah.
Even though we're very diverse culturally in many ways.
An injustice somewhere is an injustice everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But it's just because of our appearance, and people can't differentiate between the different Asians. Yeah, we realize we do have to come together.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think that
Okay,
covers
thank you.
everything. All right. Thanks.
And I think it's wonderful. But I'm thinking too, from a selfish standpoint, I want people who are Asian to know that I stand with them.
Yeah.
And that I think that the support for the Asian community is much broader than it might be perceived. Carlos has a Hispanic background. I'm about as Scandinavian as you can get. And we both stand really for positive emotions, not negative toward anyone, whether Asian or black or Jewish or anything. I mean, why would anybody hate anyone? We saw from Nazi Germany that if you codify hatred, you have just ruined yourself.
Yeah.
So we're just a leavening agent in the social fabric right now. Carlos and I are leavening.
Right. Like yeast.
Yes, right.
But I think that's I think that probably more likely than not that there is more positivity, as Anna says, in the world, and we just are. The other news gets more attention, and I think we need to try to focus on the positivity and how much positiveness there is towards the Asian community, AAPI community, and I think these events, highlight. It's hard to prove a negative or
yes,
that kind of a thing.
Yes.
And so these things help to do that.
Yeah.
It's a shame that they're not included more in like our vast media of all the things that of this nature happen. Towards the community.
The hope for the rally. You think you just found out about it, so you don't really have a whole lot of expectations.
No, but having watched or having learned of the violence against the AAPI community, I'm hoping that this just counteracts that, and we can move to a place of more peace and understanding through these kinds of events, because we hear about the violence, but we don't always hear about all the things that other communities are doing in terms of positive, actions. And so this is good to have. It's because otherwise we get skewed too much towards that. Oh, things are terrible. There's violence, but we don't hear about the positive, effects of these kinds of activities. So.
And
that's my thinking.
Yeah.
As the temple president, I assume you are hoping that more people are kind of aware of
we think
this
that
location.
even through this, it'll raise an awareness of the temple. Although we've been here in this location since the late 1950s, so a lot of people are familiar with us here in Uptown. We've had a working relationship with.
My hopes for today is that people come together and express their solidarity and support for our Asian American community here in Uptown, and that we're also raising awareness in the neighborhood of like the hate crimes that have happened in this neighborhood, so that people know what's going on.
What are your hopes for today?
I think it's just giving a united message as leaders of faith in this community that there is no room for hate in our community, and that we need to basically conquer the ignorance that exists about human dignity. We're all equal in the eyes of God, and I hope that we can all say that together. So.
Okay, thank you.
The priest at this time to come with, that made sense. But when people come in front, it's really important to do what we can to connect to the people in front of us.
Okay.
And this is where I think also it's easier nowadays for me to separate entertainment from protocol. I'm choosing the audience. The audience doesn't choose me. And I hope that if they do end up in front of me, that they're willing to hear the way we are doing, that they are representing songs of resistance for different reasons. Songs of resistance from our cousins throughout the South Pacific who have also had to survive, and that there's more power behind that. And the things that we normally see in entertainment are never going to be appropriate. So that also takes another kind of a mindset, who has the kind of critical knowledge, who can do that without turning it into... Well, entertainment is really the Western world's need and want of us.
Those are the stylings of Lani Aloha. And as she was saying, I hope everyone who could come out in front could just groove. Thank you, everyone who came out to groove together. Thank you, beautiful people, for listening. AAPI Awareness Month is going on all throughout May, so hopefully I will be back to talk to some of the other people involved in that rally. My hope is that this podcast brings insight to heavier issues like this rally. This podcast works off the notion, think global, act local. I'm pleasantly surprised how this episode turned out, but I need feedback. If this was confusing, I should have done more introductions. I'm on an arbitrary timeline, so I have not added as much narrative as maybe is needed. Let me know what you think of that. Contact me at ben@uptowncommunitypodcast.com. Let me know. I'll see you next time. Take hope and take care.
As a project of People's Church, the Uptown Community Podcast celebrates creativity, love, and humanity.
The Uptown Community Podcast is supported with a grant from the Unitarian Universalist Funding Program.